Well, Mr. Foreign Minister, thank you for taking the time to speak to us. Can you explain why the summit meeting was called off, what the reasoning was?
I think what we did is saved the opportunity of the involvement of the U.S. president until he can do something. And I just want to make one thing very, very clear here. This does not in any way impact the historically strong relationship Jordan and the U.S. have, the tremendous respect with which His Majesty holds the president. And we know that without a leading American role, we cannot stop what's going on, and we cannot even look beyond this terrible moment into what needs to be done to produce just and lasting peace.
Israel has agreed to allow food and other vital supplies to get into Gaza. Is that an important breakthrough in your mind?
It is a glimpse of hope in the otherwise very dark and ugly reality with which we're living. If it happens, then it's an important step, because simply it will save lives. People are starving there. There's no food, no water, no medicine. We have a hospital that has been operating in Gaza since 2009, when there was also another war, and we kept it because people needed it. We're told by our doctors there that within a week it will run from supplies, and it will not be able to treat the wounded and offer its vital services. So getting humanitarian supplies into Gaza is a top priority, and it's about time this has happened. I mean, people, again, to put this in the political context, people are asking, why is it a war crime to deny food and medicine to Ukraine, but it's not a war crime to do the same to the Palestinians? There are a lot of questions that are being raised here by angry people in terms of also the applicability of international law. It should apply to all places, regardless of nationality and regardless of where the conflict is taking place.
Is there a bridge too far here if Israel goes ahead with a full-scale ground invasion and essentially tries to crush Hamas? What will the result be?
I think we're extremely alarmed, we're extremely worried of those painful images of people dying on both sides continue to come, then we'll just lose the chances of preventing this war from escalating into other places, the West Bank, Lebanon. The risk of regional war is real this time. We all know that. So I think the question is, do we continue with war that we know from history that will not produce anything but conditions of misery and despair that will produce another war, if not next year, then the year after? Or do we all cut the losses and say, enough life lost from both sides, let's stop and let's create the peace that will be the only guarantee for the security and safety of all?
What will it take to stop the fighting? What are the most concrete things that either side can do right now?
And that's the question that we're asking. What would it take to stop this war? How many lives must be wasted before this war stops? And we all realize that war will not produce anything, that violence will not do anything but get more violence. What it takes, we should stop this war. We should stop this madness and start talking and figure out a way that will produce peace and security for all of us, for Israelis, for Palestinians. War will not do it. We've been there before. What did wars and violence do? They just led to worse violence every time around. So I think emotions are high, but we cannot run the fate of millions of people by emotions. We need reason to come back, and we need to all sit down and figure out how we can create a path that will produce peace for all, once and for all, so that Palestinians women don't have to mourn their children, Israeli women don't have to mourn their children, so that we all don't have to worry about this war expanding and getting to all of us.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.